Being a very strong boy then, Bhagwan's kick would sting Ranga like he was being hit with an iron rod. When they went swimming now, Bhagwan playfully kicked Rangan again, but this time Rangan held his foot, put it to his eyes and then on his head and said, Bhagwan, how is it that your leg has become so soft? When you did this to me in Madurai, it used to be like being hit by an iron rod. Now your foot feels soft like a rose petal. Bhagwan replied, Is it so, Ranga? Maybe spiritual perfection changes even the body. Once, when Rangan was going around the hill along with Bhagwan, he stepped on a thorn. Bhagwan bent over and removed the thorn himself. Rangan had not noticed Bhagwan's feet until then, but after walking for a little while, he saw Bhagwan stepping on a thorn. He cried, Bhagwan, Bhagwan, there is a thorn in your foot. Please sit down. Let me remove it. Bhagwan sat down to oblige his friend. However, when Rangan took a look at Bhagwan's foot, he saw not one, but innumerable thorns. Bhagwan wryly remarked, Ranga, which thorns are you going to remove, the old ones or the new ones? Let it go. Bhagwan, how can you walk? Rangan protested. Bhagwan calmly gestured. See, when a thorn goes into the foot, just rub it on the earth and everything will be all right. Rangan once had the opportunity to physically embrace Bhagwan. He was again amazed that the master's skin was silky and soft as a lotus petal. When he had known him in Madurai, his skin had been very rough. So much so that if he rubbed against somebody else, it would hurt. He asked Bhagwan in wonderment, Bhagwan, how come the texture of your skin has changed? Bhagwan responded with the same reply, Spiritual perfection changes everything. Another time, as a friend, he took the liberty to ask the Guru, Bhagwan, why does your head shake all the time and why do you need a walking stick? Bhagwan confided in his friend, Ranga, this is not because of old age. When I came to Tiruvannamalai after the death experience and took shelter at the foot of Arunachala, this head started shaking. Why? Rangan inquired, looking puzzled. Bhagwan replied, Can you imagine a violent, wild, mad elephant entering a small thatched shed? What would happen to the hut is what has happened to this body. It will go to pieces. This is how the immensity of Bhagwan's spiritual experience had affected his body. Rangan once consulted an astrologer who said he would have insurmountable problems for 1 year. He wrote to Bhagwan, telling him of what the astrologer had said. Bhagwan at once asked his devotees to write back to Rangan to come and stay with him. This was the only instance we know of where Bhagwan did something like this. The moment Rangan arrived, Bhagwan said, Do not remove yourself any time from me. Be with me all the time. A friend from Chennai came to stay with them for a couple of days. The day he was supposed to leave, Rangan offered to go with him to the railway station. Bhagwan cautioned him with strict instructions. Ranga, take him to the station, put him on the train and come straight back to me. Do not go anywhere else. Do not spend the night in town. Just come back and stay with me. Finally, after a few months had passed, the day came when Bhagwan told Rangan he could go back. When he did so, he found that all his problems had been solved. Rangan revealed some fascinating stories about Bhagwan's childhood. Bhagwan's father was a lawyer, and he had stored many important legal papers in a loft at home. Once, when they were playing together, Bhagwan pulled out those papers and made paper boats with them and floated them in the temple pool along with his friends. Though his father loved him very much, he was understandably livid when he found this out. He ordered his wife, Aragammal, undress him, shave his head, make him wear just a loincloth and drive him out of the house. Many years later, when Rangan met Bhagwan at Virupaksha cave, he recalled, Venkatraman, do you remember your father predicted your ascetic state many years ago? When Bhagwan was at Skandasham, Rangan would visit quite often. One day, he saw Bhagwan was lying inside, so he left the room closing the door quietly behind him. To his astonishment, he saw Bhagwan talking to somebody outside the room when he had seen him lying down inside just a second ago. He ran and opened the room door and saw Bhagwan lying there with closed eyes. He told Bhagwan what he saw. Bhagwan brushed it off humorously, saying, You should have caught that thief you saw outside and we could have dealt with him. Once, Rangan asked, Bhagwan, you attained enlightenment while you were still in Madurai, isn't it? Bhagwan replied, when I was studying, Arunachala entered me most powerfully, though apparently I was unaware. It is His grace that He revealed Himself to me. I felt like my whole body was burning. From that moment on, I was in Samadhi. Though I continued to play and talk with you, I was in Samadhi the whole while. Bhagwan revealed this only to Rangan. One day, Rangan noticed that one of Bhagwan's teeth and his gums were very dark. Bhagwan, you used to have a very healthy body and good teeth. Bhagwan said rather nonchalantly, yes, but once when I was here alone, a person gave me poison and asked me to swallow it. I did so. It did not kill me, but it destroyed my gums and my teeth. Bhagwan was given poison 3 times. Strangely, this has happened to many sages. For instance, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar too was given poison twice. It was not just his friendship, but also his teachings that Bhagwan shared with Rangan. Rangan often felt that he could not stand up to the demands of spiritual practice because he was entangled in his worries about his family, money and other worldly problems. Bhagwan would tell him, throw your thoughts out. You'll enjoy freedom only in a state where there are no thoughts. Unfortunately, Rangan found it difficult to follow this counsel. Feeling that it was impossible for him to progress spiritually, he asked, how many times will I be born again before I get jnana? Bhagwan gave a beautiful answer. In reality, there are no factors like time and distance. In 1 hour, we dream that many days and years have passed by. In a movie, don't you see mere shadows being transformed into vast seas, mountains and buildings? The world is not outside you. All happens within you, like in the movie show. The small world that is in the mind appears as the big world outside. Rangan complained later, Bhagwan, your grace is not on me. Bhagwan smiled graciously and replied, Ranga, you are speaking like one who is standing neck deep in the flood waters of the Ganga, complaining that he is thirsty and wants water from the tap of his house to be brought, to quench his thirst. In Kumbakonam, in South India, there is a huge religious festival that is held every 12 years. Millions of people throng to this festival. Rangan wrote to Bhagwan that he and his entire family were going to attend it. Yet, on the day of the festivities, he unexpectedly paid Bhagwan a visit. Surprised, Bhagwan asked him, what are you doing here? Well, everyone else is going to Kumbakonam for the festival. Why have you come here? With the deepest devotion, Rangan replied, I came here because I recognize that the God here is greater than the God at Kumbakonam. After a few days' stay, it was time to depart. Rangan was overcome with the pain of separation from Bhagwan and wept bitterly. Bhagwan consoled him. Ranga, you are imagining that you came from Kumbakonam and are now going to Madurai. In reality, you are where you always were. That is in the same place with me. Being with me, you are in a state of jubilation. But when you reach the state of the self by your own effort, you will realize that there is nothing special in me. You will recognize that you too are that self. Sometimes Bhagwan would say, I am where there are no words. To this, Rangan asked, then why do you talk? Out of compassion, was the master's reply. Once, Ramaswamy Pillai, another devotee, lost a bunch of keys. He came to Bhagwan and said, I have lost my keys. Bhagwan's reply, the keys are where they always were. They were never lost. Only your memory is lost. Atma is always everywhere. The self is always everywhere. But due to ignorance, we spend all our time searching for it.